Okay. Hey guys, hope you're doing well on this very wintry, unusual morning. Welcome to the Philip Group, or what we might call it the Philip Experiment, because we are going to experiment with a new idea. You know, like all experiments, some work really, really well, and some don't. So we're gonna give this a shot as we try to think about how can we do evangelism better as individuals and as a church. So thanks for tuning in. Either we're going to be having these sessions live for those that can sit in, but each of them will also be recorded and accessible. So thanks for being here. You have been invited because somebody, particularly Zach, has identified you as someone who's actively trying to do outreach with perhaps Muslims or just unbelievers in general. So I thank you for that. We need really faithful examples, people like Philip, like yourself in the church, that are being led by the Spirit, that are sharing the gospel with people of all races, of all religious backgrounds. So work through a simple outline. I'm going to keep my goal is all of these would be short so that you'd be encouraged to chime in. We're going to try to have them around the lunch hour, you know, which won't interfere with growth groups in the evening or your morning commute to work. So again, if the lunch time doesn't work, we're going to try to record them, and then you can upload them later. So I want to talk to you about the origin of this idea, where it came from, talk a little bit about what we're going to do in each session, and then give you my goals for the Philip Experiment, and then give you some homework. Okay, so we were reading in Center Church by Tim Keller, pastor at Redeemer Presbyterian Church, an idea that he then expounded on in our city-to-city network, which is basically a very simple idea. Keller said that in each of his churches that he pastored a small church in Hopewell, Virginia for several years before he went to New York. He developed a group of what he called lay evangelists that he would meet with regularly. I don't think it was weekly, but you know, semi-regularly, to basically just encourage them in the gospel. It wasn't so much an evangelism training. He wasn't working through 4 spiritual laws or whatever, but rather he would just work through Galatians or teach a text on the gospel. He would just try to encourage them in the gospel, and these were individuals that were already doing evangelism. And practically then he wanted to say, you're released from any non-essential membership duties. I want you investing your time in the community, in the city, reaching people. And so the time would just then become, you know, a means of encouragement, of evangelism in that church. So I really liked that idea. I thought that was something we could implement immediately. And then we are also talking to a church planner that we're supporting. I'm not sure if you watched his video on Vimeo yet. I think it was on Vimeo. Stefan Pews from Germany, Frankfurt, Germany. He took the same idea from Keller, and he's trying to reach, you know, a very hardened area in Frankfurt, and he has a group of about 10 people. I forget what he called his particular group, but they set up a group on WhatsApp, the WhatsApp app, and his group is really secretive. He's handpicked them all, and what they've tried to do is follow a suggestion of one of Keller's pastors, which was basically, he told them, if you guys want to grow by 40 people, you need to be in contact with, I forgot the number, but it was a big number, in the hundreds, 400 people or so. And his basic point was, you're gonna have a lot of contacts with people that unfortunately you don't see a lot of fruit with. So we need lots of contacts. You know, we don't need just 10 people with one person each, though. That's better than a lot of people. But let's think about connecting with multiple people and see if we can catch some fish. So Stefan talked about this idea, how well it's happened, and just really the prayer momentum. And so they get together and share. He's kind of worked them through a gospel presentation of sorts in Germany, and I won't explain it, but it has to do with a mud puddle. And it's an idea of riding your bike through the puddle. When he gets into the gospel, they call it taking people in the puddle. And so they get on the WhatsApp app and they say, you know, I took 2 people through the puddle today, and it just becomes a means of excitement, encouragement, prayer. So I really love those ideas. So this is something we can implement that will be easy, and we could pull together everybody that's already doing it. So that's the basic background, and then with that, Zach created this group of folks who were, and they had contacted Zach about trying to reach out to Muslims, and so we already had sort of a group established. So I was like, let's go for it. Now, what I want to do, moving into the second part here, what I want to do as we assemble on Google Live, and you know, if we meet in person. As a group, we'll definitely see each other in person. I hope you see each other on Sunday or growth group or whatever. Is just prayer and share. So we're not going to be able to pray over all of your names every week. We're not going to be able to share about every person that you're trying to reach, but perhaps you would have 1 or 2, you know, cases where you're like, hey, let me give you an update. I talked to, you know, Jorge, and you know, he's really close to embracing the God. Let's pray for him. Blah blah blah. Great. That's the kind of thing we want to do in this group: is prayer and share. Yeah. So as a whole, we'll try to keep the sessions themselves under 30 minutes, and make it a way just to touch base, to be in touch, and to you know, if you're able to log in at lunch. Here are some of these names. Take them with you. Be praying. You know, if you have growth group later that night, you know, you may choose to pray for them or whatever. So that's what we're going to try to do in this time together. Prayer and share. All right. Now, here's what I hope to happen. Here are the goals. First of all, accountability. I want this to be a mechanism by which you understand you're not alone in trying to reach outsiders. You got other brothers and sisters who are doing the work of an evangelist, and we all need accountability. Without it, you know, most people, they don't work out well, they don't stay on their diet, they don't, you know, do other disciplines that they know they want to try to start and establish. So we want this to be about accountability. This is not a competition, okay? A lot of people, I think, functionally believe in justification by doing evangelism. So evangelism can become a performance act, whereby we think we are somehow meriting God's favor. We don't want to do evangelism for those reasons. We do them because we are justified. We do it gladly. We do it freely. We do it happily. We do it because someone did it for us. But accountability is very important for helping people along. Some of you will have more names. You are probably more gifted, but hopefully together this will help all of us. Okay. Secondly, and obviously, I want us to be able to pray more intentionally, more specifically for people. So we'll talk about how we're going to do that in a minute. Thirdly, as mentioned, I want this just to be a time to encourage one another, stir one another up, as Hebrews says, to love and good deeds. And so I can't wait to hear stories. I would anticipate using some stories in sermons to share them with the body, but that's not why we're starting this group, of course, but we do want it to be a means of encouragement. I'm always encouraged by those that are doing the work of an evangelist, and seeing fruit and seeing rejection. I mean, both can encourage you. So let's be encouraged. Fourth, as mentioned, I want you to hear from me, and I know the other elders feel this way as well. Outside of the basic membership responsibilities, we really want you, if you're conflicted about where to invest your time in the church, and you have been identified as a faithful evangelist, I want you giving time to that. Doesn't mean you won't be giving time to other things in the church, but often the people who do really good evangelism also want to do everything else under the sun in the church, and that's great. That's part of the reason why they're your most faithful people. But we have a lot of people who are doing stuff internally in the body, and it's wonderful. But I also the church, really, I think the larger it grows, the more inward it becomes. Stefan talked about a steering, a car that would always kind of, if it wasn't aligned, would pull one direction or the other. And I think the church tends to go inward if it's not constantly being pulled. So I want you guys to help get us outside. So I want you to feel the freedom to say no to certain things that are not essential membership requirements in order to do this. I want to encourage you to do that, and for you to see you are doing the work of Imago Dei in doing the work of evangelism. You're not forsaking the church. You're doing what you were being the church. So that's that. Then this is hopefully something that we will enjoy as well, and that is to share when we have your share time. And again, you may or may not have a lot to share. That's fine. You don't have to feel like you're only logging in if you have something to share. Share what's working as well. Not only share the story, but if you have a particular approach you've been using in conversation, share that. Let's make this sort of a best practices time where we can talk about what approach we've been using with people. And then finally, as we meet together, I hope we all just learn to love Christ more, to appropriate the gospel ourselves more as we reflect on the centrality of the gospel. So those are my goals: accountability, intentional prayer, encouragement, giving you freedom to focus on evangelism, providing a place for practical solutions and what's working, and then personal gospel appropriation. So that's the Philip experiment. Okay. Now, last thing. Here are some takeaways, some things I'd like for you to do. Some of you have already helped with this already. I want us to develop a floating document, a Google document, that we can insert names into this document. And those are individuals that you have a relationship with, or you're praying for, or you're having a gospel conversation with, or you're hoping to have a gospel conversation with. I want us to put that in this Google document that we can then together be reading, be praying, take it before the Lord, and we could also even kind of look through it perhaps as you're sharing on the forum here. So to do that, keeping in the spirit of what I mentioned with Stefan, think about 20 to 25 names. Now, you might have more than that, but my guess is most people 10 is a lot. But I really want to challenge you on this. I want to challenge myself on this to identify more than that. And for us, if we've got 30 people on the Hangout and we each have 20 names, my math's not that good. I went to school in Kentucky, but I think that's 600 names. Is that 600 names, 330 times 20? I think that's 600 names, yeah. Donnie went to Mississippi. But the point is, be identifying those names, add them to the list. We did this with 555, so it's not a new idea. Okay. Next takeaway is hopefully soon we'll develop a group on the Voxer. So we'll have a Voxer group or groups. We might divide them into 3 different groups or whatever. And let's use Voxer as a means of awareness, prayer. So, hey guys, I'm having a conversation with X. Pray for him. You know, we might get into this and realize Voxer is a better tool than Google Hangout. That's, you know, if so, we'll just keep rolling with it. But I think that's going to be a really easy way for us to do all of these things I've mentioned. Now, don't blow everybody up on Voxer. So when you really need it, you know, go for it, and let's encourage one another. Let's share prayer concerns and other things via Voxer so we can know what's going on. The Google Hangouts, I anticipate only doing these about every 3 weeks or so. So you'll be alerted to when the next one is. And so in between the meetings especially, that, you know, Voxer is going to be the primary way we stay in touch through this, okay? All right, last thing is this. If you have new people that you think would do well to be in the Philip group, let Zach know, and Zach can add them to the group. I'm sure we've missed people. Again, we want to identify people who are already doing evangelism, who you think are really gifted, who are effective, who are, you know, would also benefit from the things I've just mentioned. Let's invite them in. So those are the 3 homework assignments. Is in the next few weeks, just try to identify names, and Zach is online there with me. Give them to Zach, or Zach can explain how you can just insert them yourself on Google, and then be ready for a Voxer group, and then let Zach know about new people, and we'll gather up here on Google Hangout, and also keep in touch via Voxer. So, man, I'm really excited. I pray that the Lord would give us great fruit, that He would give us opportunities to tell people how they can have new life in Christ, how they can be reconciled to God, how they can have their sins forgiven, how they can receive the righteousness of Jesus, and how the gospel is the most important thing in the whole world. So pray for the Lord's grace in all of this. Zach, you have any additional things you want to add?
Yeah, I'll just add some clarification as far as this homework that you just assigned us with. I am clicking send to an email that I just put together. In that email is a link to the spreadsheet document that Tony was just referencing. There are multiple tabs in that document. The first tab that you'll see there is a tab that says something along the lines of Philip Group members. Go in there and fill in any information about yourself that is missing. For example, there are a lot of phone numbers in there that I don't have in there. And then also, I will add in there as well a tab that says Voxer ID. And if you can just go ahead and throw your Voxer ID into that document as well, then I can go through and invite you all to the same Voxer conversation. That I'll start that up later this week after you've had some time to be able to put those in there for me. And then also there are 3 or 4 tabs that are letters A, B, C, D, and each of those tabs are groups. So they're subgroups of the Philip group. And the reason we've done that is because we want to, they're only allowed in Google Hangouts 10 people at a time to be able to actually have conversation with one another. As many people as we want can listen to it, but only 10 can have a conversation at a time. So the way that we have tried to remedy that is to divide the group, because it's gotten set a little bit large, divide it into subgroups. And then what we'll do is we'll have, each time that we come together, we'll meet with a different group and have a conversation with a different group, so that everyone has a chance to be able to, put some input in, share about what the Lord's doing, share about the people that they're working with, give them opportunity, give everyone opportunity to be able to share and pray, and that sort of thing. So also in each of those, you'll see in the members tab, you'll see that I've assigned a group to each person, either A, B, or C, D. So what you'll do is you'll just go to that next tab, whatever group you belong to. If I belong to A, then I'm going to go into A. I'm going to look for my name, and then under my name is a list of 20 column. I think it has just 20, 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 20, and that's where we want you to go ahead and put your names into the list. And there are other qualifications. You can keep up with conversations that are going on. You can give, if you have a follow-up conversation and you want to share that on there, you can do that. There's a lot of it'll be easy to be able to keep up with what you're doing, and then help us to be able to keep up with what you're doing as well, if we use that document. Now, I will say this. I've shared the link to everybody. Everyone should be able to edit that by just clicking on that link. But I think in order to be able to edit it, you actually have to have a Google Gmail account. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's the case. So if you don't have a Gmail account, then you may consider, for this purpose, so that we can all share the same document, go ahead and get in one of those.
Cool. That is that.
I think that's all. If you have any other questions, feel free to Vox me, call me, shoot me a text, or shoot me an email. Or Donnie is very knowledgeable about this kind of thing as well. So either one of us.
And Tony is not. So please shoot your questions to Zach, and we're going to sign out, guys. Once again, thanks for your ministry in and through Imago Day. We love you guys. It's an incredible privilege we have to serve with one another in this church. So may the Lord grant us fruit as we, like Philip, try to reach our Ethiopian eunuchs all around us. So may the Lord direct you by His Spirit today.